the times they are paywalled. I should have brought my harmonica. Welcome to How Do We Human. It's the podcast where we like to overanalyze all the weird and uncomfortable micro moments in life. That's just us, though. And who are we? I'm Evan Cox, one of your hosts.
I'm one of your co-hosts, Chris Binning.
I said so many things backwards there. I thought I'd lose the plot, but I think I made it.
Good job.
Thanks. Today, we're going to be talking about the times. What's going on in the world of the LA Times and the New York Times, and just the fact that everything in the world is paywalled now. It's a nightmare world of capitalism we live in.
Yeah.
Yeah, but before we, throw up, because this is like, that's how much it disgusts me what the Times are doing. I'm gonna fucking throw up.
Oh man,
I'm gonna vom, bro.
This is a passionate Evan that we have not seen in many episodes.
I was gonna say before we throw out like our $5 for the month to talk about these two nightmares. Chris.
Yeah.
I gotta know how you're doing.
Well, let's talk about friggin' capitalism, because this is a story about businesses.
Oh man, I'm gonna vom.
I of course have my physical media collection, Blu-rays and DVDs, and I've been going into a record store recently because they also have Blu-rays and DVDs, and they have them for dirt cheap prices, baby.
Hell yeah.
So I've been going in there both to add to the collection and also to upgrade stuff that is DVD, upgrade it to Blu-ray, because I'd rather upgrade it for like $2 instead of like
40.
Yeah. So I've been doing that, and then they also, in order to get stuff to for me to buy, I can sell to them. And so I was waiting to get like a decent number ready to go.
Yeah.
So that I wasn't walking in there with like, can I sell this one DVD, please?
But here's 25 cents.
Their website says that they purchase stuff for between $1 to $5 is what their website claims. And of course, the rarer something is, the more money that they would give you. But so I go in there with about 20 DVDs. And there's like never anybody at the like counter. They're always like wandering around, like restocking stuff. But so some guy comes over, he takes a look at the 20 DVDs that I have, and he's going through them. He's putting them into to two piles. He's checking to make sure that the discs are in there and they're not scratched or broken. And then he's like, they're in a pile, and it's like 7 in one pile and 13 in another.
Yeah.
And he goes, I'll give you $5 for these 7.
Yeah.
And these 13 we can't use because they're too common or whatever. Yeah. But if you want, we can just take them and donate them to charity, or you can take them back and try to sell them somewhere else. And I was like, you can donate them to charity. Like, I don't want to still have them. So
whoever charity is.
Exactly. But it was kind of a weird thing to be like, this is how much we purchase stuff for. And then I go there to sell stuff, and they're like, no, you will give you less than $1 for each of these, and nothing for these.
Yeah.
Like, well, then don't put the price point on your website. You know what I mean? Like, It's one thing to be like, you can bring stuff in and we'll take it, and compensate you or whatever.
Yeah.
But don't like put a number on there so that I'm expecting a number.
Yeah.
And then, I bought some stuff there, and as I was getting ready to pay for that stuff, I could tell that like the guy was annoyed with me is what it felt like, of like you brought in more work for me, like
Yeah.
that I gotta take this to Goodwill or wherever. So I am not going to go in there anymore probably. I was going like once a month, and now I'll probably go maybe once a year.
Yeah.
But I went recently to Amoeba Records,
Hmm.
and was like overwhelmed in there with just the scope of chaos and selection.
Yeah. There's a lot
Um
going on in there.
yeah, it was truly like overwhelming.
Yeah. Get past security at the front door.
Yeah. Um and it just like I thought that I found where their movies were, and it was like a tiny little like row of stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, there's like two or three things that I'll buy here. Um, but then as I was like still wandering around, it was like our movie collection this way. So I walk over there and it's like 5 aisles, like
Yeah.
a tiered, labeled, sorted by genre, sorted by director, sorted by. And I was like, I'm gonna have a panic attack in
Yeah.
here.
I don't have time for this shit.
And it like I got so overwhelmed. I was like, well, I have to buy everything that I see because
Sure.
what if the store closes down again like it did
Yeah.
several years ago?
That's right.
Um, but the next time, this is part one of two, much like Fast
Ooh.
X.
Apparently.
But I still have to go back and see now what happens when I take DVDs to Amoeba Records. Will they do the same thing,
Yeah.
or will I be able to sell more of them, even if it's like, you know, for 50 cents each or whatever? Like,
Yeah.
am I getting something for all of them instead of just a random 7 of them? So stay tuned. At some point, I'll go back to Amoeba, have another panic attack, but
Yeah.
maybe get some money.
This is exciting. Two thoughts.
Yeah,
First thought, you are just now in your life living the life I lived in 2008.
I love it.
you're just
I
you're
mean, I am younger than you,
Mr.
Evan.
Mr. Analog over there. Yeah, no, I know that. And that dance has always been that fucking dance where you're like, why? I get it. I
Yeah.
get this movie's too common for you to take.
Yes.
But I'm looking at the shelf. You got one copy.
Yes, that's
Maybe you have
exactly
two
how I
copies
felt.
now and you take it for free.
Right.
And it probably does boil down to like, yeah, we have one copy. We've had it for 30 years and no one's bought it.
Sure. Yeah. Or if we accept yours, then we have to accept the 50 others that come through the door or whatever.
I'm sure
Like,
it's a culture where word gets around like someone took this copy of I can't think of a single fucking movie. I wanted to think of a really good like what's a movie? The Bone Collector. Somebody took somebody's finally buying copies of The Bone Collector, and then everyone in the Facebook group rushes that store trying to
yeah.
sell their copy of The Bone Collector.
Yeah. Could
Uh,
could be.
That it's possible. My other thought, more importantly, you said Fast X. There's going to be a part 2. It's a part 1. What if part 2 was actually a prequel and it was Fast S? So they went together and spelled sex.
I love it.
Fast sex.
One of like it's such a bizarre franchise that like has been known to, especially in those racing scenes, objectify women, and then it's a movie with like no sex in it. It's like, well,
Yeah,
what?
that is interesting.
Evan,
I gotta catch up on these movies. Yeah.
how you doing?
Good, 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 good. I haven't seen Fast X. Um, so I don't know. I'm just a little nobody over here. I don't know. I don't know nothing. But one thing I do know, and
Fast
I
sex.
couldn't remember. There's that. I can't remember if because this has been happening a lot, and I probably mentioned it at some point before, and I'm gonna say it so that maybe whoever's doing it can hear. Because I'll just be sitting at my little desk, listening to music on my little Bluetooth speakers over there, and all of a sudden my music will change, and it will be very, very loud pop music because someone else in the building apparently has the same type of Bluetooth speakers as I do, but only knows how to connect to mine and not to
Interesting.
theirs.
Okay.
And there's no way for me to kick them off. The music starts playing super loud, and I'd like to think, well, maybe they'll hear that it's coming from a different apartment and be like, oops, and shut it off. But it's never worked that way. It just goes and goes. I hate it. What do I do? Just yell? Go outside my door and go, hey, whoever else has the Edifier Bluetooth speakers, stop it.
This is why I don't like Bluetooth technology.
It shouldn't be possible.
Yeah. So there's no way to like lock your speakers so that you have to like
I
enter a
wonder,
password or
maybe.
something to connect or
Seems like there should be, and this is a
yeah.
case of me not looking hard enough into it. So I'm going to look harder
Okay.
because you asked me to.
Hopefully those instructions are not behind a paywall.
Oh, that'd be terrible if they were. But
It
do you
would.
know where I bought those Edifier speakers?
I'm gonna guess Amoeba Records.
Boom, baby. You
Yeah.
got it. One
The
of
new location or the old location?
Great question. I think it was the old location. Yeah, maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe one day we'll see each other in there.
I don't go there very often. I've only been there a handful of times, but I do like it there.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah, it's
nice.
a cool place.
It's I don't know. It's a nice little
One of the
throwback.
coolest places you could have a panic attack. Is it?
Exactly. Unlike me, just having a daily panic attack at the grocery store. Yeah, we're talking paywalls. This I think came up in your how you doing a couple of weeks ago, and we were both trying to get fit and in shape. I don't
Yeah.
know how that's going for you. I haven't done
Not
anything
great.
yet.
I go on a couple walks. That's
That's
more what
kind of
I'm
my
doing.
thing too. You've been on my walk that I do, except I normally don't stop at Shake Shack halfway through. But yeah, that's my only thing I've got that I'm like trying to keep in shape. And the problem is like I think I'm gonna relay this, and we are gonna talk about the times a little bit, but just paywalls in
Absolutely.
general is also what we wanted to talk about today. And I think a big problem is like like I told so you that story was that you had heard or had done it before where you assign a workout to cards in a card deck and you flip a card
Yeah.
over, do that workout for however many you set it for. And I was like, "Oh, that's called HIT
Yeah, with two
exercise, high
eyes.
high intensity interval training." That's very popular. And I did it for a while and it was super effective. And I did it through an app and it was fucking great. And I don't have that app on my phone anymore. And so we downloaded one and it was paywalled. And I think what happened was the pandemic. Because what exploded in the pandemic? That fucking
Peloton.
Peloton. I was like, Patreon? It's Patreon's fault.
Don't worry. We're gonna talk about Patreon too.
Ooh, let's do it. No, Peloton came around, which was like in the first place, like you got to buy a bike, you got to sign up for a subscription, and now like they've also just got their apps. You can just sign up for a subscription through their app. It's outrageously expensive, but you'll be in the best shape of your life, and you'll make friends along the way. And I think every single, it's like every fucking industry, you see someone who has some success, even if it's in a global pandemic where it's like these numbers can't be You can't just retrofit that to be like, no, that's the truth. That's it now. Every single one was like, well, we've got to be a membership. So if we're not a membership,
Yeah.
people are just going to use us and abuse us, leave us.
People are going to use our product.
You're gonna
and enjoy
it. This is my main thing, and I particularly am pointing this at the New York Times. It's fucking ridiculous to make it like we would rather have like 10 people use our product and pay $5 a month for it than have 500,000 people use our product and see ads and make significantly more money from it. It doesn't make sense in any I don't know. I don't like it. I hate it. Subscriptions are bad and they should feel bad.
Yeah, I mean, you have had a rough time with the LA Times.
I sure have.
But other than that, I don't know anyone who subscribes or like pays for either the New York Times or the LA Times.
No.
To a point where like it must just be other journalists, right? That like are like for other publications, and they all it's just like they all just pass the money around so that they can see each other's information and then write their own stories and put those behind their paywall so somebody else that's paying them can see theirs. Like
maybe it's just
doesn't make any sense. And speaking of the LA Times and your bad experience notwithstanding, part of the reason other than the paywall that we hate the LA Times, you and I we love award show season in the entertainment industry. Not necessarily for the award shows themselves, but we love the Hollywood Reporter Roundtable.
Oh, right. Yes, of course.
In which they've gotten much better at it recently, since they seem to have either fired
or killed
Stephen Galloway, who was an absolute dog shit interviewer. But now they seem to exclusively have Lacey Rose, or there's that one other guy that seems to like sub in every now and then, and both of them are good at it.
You don't like interrupting interesting answers to ask stupid questions?
Yeah, he would take like 5 or 6 of the most interesting people working in Hollywood, and then he would talk for a majority of the panel and really test our patience as to
work at bugging all those interesting people.
Yeah, I remember this must have been the 2018 maybe, whenever A Quiet Place came out.
Okay.
The round table for the writers.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like John Krasinski, and then a bunch of other people who are certainly talented, but are not names that I can pull off the top of my head. But it was I'm Stephen Galloway for Hollywood Reporter, here with the writers, and he introduces all of them. So to get started, and as a like for anybody that's not watched these roundtables, especially recently, the first question is like the icebreaker question of like, how did you get started? What do people recognize you for?
Yeah.
Like just very basic, like let's all get comfortable. And I remember this one so vividly because Stephen Galloway introduces everybody, and then he goes, so Donald Trump, if any of you were offered the biopic, would you write the screenplay?
That's right.
For Donald Trump. And all 6 of them are like, no. Zero interest.
Oh, God. It's funny because I know where this conversation is going, and it has nothing to do with this. But man,
it has nothing to do with it. But it's just as long as we're talking about things we don't like,
it's just also fun to talk shit about Stephen Galloway. I'll vague podcast here. I've worked with some bad interviewers before who take similar paths to like, oh, this is going to be a fun way to open the podcast. So it's like, oh, I see where your brain went. It's just that your brain is bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Your brain is bad. And a logical person could be like, hey, if we're talking to a bunch of like very smart writers who are enigmatic even, and it's hard to find an enigmatic writer.
Yeah.
They're not always that way. Let's get them started talking politics. Like,
yeah,
no,
exactly.
That's not what anyone's here for. That's not what anyone wants. That's not what anyone's here for there or watching it. It's just your weird little world you live in.
Yeah. But all of that to say, we love the Hollywood Reporter, especially now with their round tables. I don't know. Their website might be paywalled. Who knows?
Oh, yeah. I watch it all on YouTube. I've never tried.
But like a year ago, there's suddenly, comedy actor roundtable, but it's from the LA Times.
This is correct.
It would have it feels like such a just like blatant, like, of course the Hollywood Reporter does not have like a trademark on roundtable interviews. Like that's, there are plenty of roundtable interviews, but something about the way the LA Times did it really feels like they're just like, no, this is their thing, but with our name.
But we do it.
Yeah. And it rubs me the wrong way. They have a bunch of interesting people on those roundtables, but I like in my gut, on principle, refuse to watch them.
Yeah. And I've told you I have watched that one, the comedy actors, and it's like I was saying, they did a lot of things better in terms of I liked how they got that group of people together. They didn't separate it by men and women, and they got people from actual comedies. My complaints of the recent Hollywood Reporters comedy roundtables. Some of these people are not actually comedic actors in my eyes, but man, it's bad. It's very more along the lines of Stephen Galloway of just like, yeah. And this is, I mean, it's it's kind of the same shit I'm saying with workout apps where it's like, oh, they did it, now we do it. And I've seen it 1 billion times in my job. I'm sure you have in your job too, where it's like anyone that nowadays a company finds success doing something. And instead of going like, let's find our own version of that, it's let's do that. That'll be successful too.
Yeah, as long as it's not pay your employees more.
Yeah.
Let's do what they're doing.
We can't take time to think about a better idea or what makes that idea work. We'll just do that exact idea with our name on it.
And it would have been one thing too if like they had done it back when those Hollywood Reporter roundtables were not as good. But now that they like are good,
they figured it out,
and then they decide to do it, like doesn't make any sense.
But one thing I can, and I don't want to give LA Times credit for shit, but one thing I can is that they did not paywall that content. It's maybe the only content they don't paywall.
Yeah.
Unlike the New York Times, which is impossible to go anywhere near in any sense of the word without being asked to subscribe or leave.
Yeah.
Subscribe
there are
or get the fuck out.
There are a couple places that give you like, oh, you get one free article a month.
Certainly.
And then you have to pay us.
I hate to tell you, I'm not keeping track of how many articles I read. Quite frankly, very, very, very few people who use the internet, which is most people.
Yeah.
are paying attention to what site they're on when they're reading stuff. They found you on
No.
Google because they
Right.
Googled a thing and you came up. Congratulations. Good on your SEO team. Pay them more. But, I don't know. I don't know what my outcome is with all of this. Like, maybe branding doesn't even matter anymore. These should all just be blank pages without names. Is that okay? Here's an idea. The debrander.
Yeah.
It'll be a logo of like someone doing tattoo removal on a cow's butt that's been branded. It's the
Yeah.
debrander, and it's just like any of those plugins you can have on your browser that will strip away branding from everything and just show it to you, white screen, black text. You don't know who's writing it. Be interesting.
The thing that, like, especially with the New York Times and other like journalism paywalls,
Yeah,
because like a lot of like the workout apps that we were just talking about, like they can't really do this, or a consumer can't really do this as easily with them as they can with the New York Times or the
yeah,
LA Times. You find an article headline on social media or something, you click on it, and they hit you with that paywall of like, well, if you want to read this,
yeah.
you've got to give us money.
Yep.
But it's so easy to be like, well, that's what the headline was about, so let me just Google that story. Oh, let me get it from somewhere for free.
Get it for free from
So like,
someone else.
I don't understand who wants to pay for these things instead of just
Yeah.
getting them for free somewhere else. Like the LA Times and the New York Times, I don't know how they still have a reputation as generally high as it seems like they do.
Yeah.
Um when like I feel like it would be much higher since they do come up so like high up in SEO searches. Wouldn't your reputation be a lot better if you didn't have the paywall
Yeah.
and you could have ads on your stories, and then you could be like, hey, we're doing a fundraiser. You like us, if you want to donate,
Yeah.
here's where you donate. Instead of like, you want to read an article that's like not great, um and you won't know if it's the information you need or
Yeah.
not until you finish reading it.
Maybe they
Give
should
us
make
$5, please.
reviews of the article public. People can review them. And you
Oh
can
yeah,
see like 5 stars. This is what I
copy and
was looking
paste the
for.
article, post it in my review.
I was gonna say, like, I don't know if they've worried about that. Maybe I'm opening a box of bad precedents. I mean, quite frankly, bare minimum, there's already torrenting out there. Like,
Right.
I don't know. There's someone out there just essentially doing that with New York Times articles. Like, one person who does pay for a subscription has access to these articles. A, just yeah, the pirate route of just hiding, but posting these a free place where people can read them. Or honestly, at this point, copy and then ask Chat GPT, can you just like change half the words in this but have it still make sense? And then post that on a website where you're making money off of ads? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, of course, one of the key differences of this podcast is Evan supports AI and I do not. But the general idea
Supports
of it,
AI is not the way to say it. I
I
don't
mean,
support
you
AI.
sure do seem to enjoy using it.
It's fun.
But,
No, I don't support AI in any capacity. I think it should burn and die. What I do is accept the fact that AI is here and it's not going away.
okay,
And
fair.
that's a major difference. Uh, yeah, particularly when it comes to the arts. But I don't want to talk about
Um,
the arts today.
the, I mean, obviously, also a part of the paywall system is to do to consumers what they did to you, which is continue to charge you after you've canceled it, and just
Yeah.
hope you don't notice for an extended period of time.
Yeah. I think this is the hard thing of being because, the flip side of the coin is that the LA Times, New York Times, that's always been a like subscription in a sense, or in a literal sense. Like if you wanted to get it sent to your home every day, you would have to pay for that. So it's not
Hmm.
like completely, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but even that, I can walk into a store and pick up a New York Times and I would be able to just like sit there and read it, or pass by a little paper box and read all the stuff on the front page. Or
Yeah.
this is crazy, if there was just one New York Times that I was like, hey, there's something in there I really want to read, I could buy it for 25 cents. Happy to. That's not an
Yeah.
option. If
Yeah.
honestly, if they just completely switched to that, buy today's for 25 cents, I would probably do it often. Probably, honestly, almost often enough to spend $5 a month or whatever. Because you know what, their biggest thing right now, the New York Times, what they've got nobody else has, they've got those goddamn recipes. They got some good ass recipes hiding behind a paywall. And it blows. I want
Interesting.
them.
Yeah. I'm not uh as up to date on what these different publications have. I need the writer's strike to end so that I can start getting news again. Because I was like getting all my news almost exclusively from Last Week Tonight and SNL and Late Night with Seth Meyers.
All right. Well,
Um,
that's a you thing.
yeah, but it's like I get the information that I need, and I
Yeah.
get it for free.
I mean, the most recent thing that I would say New York Times successfully bungled was killing the world's interest in Wordle.
Yeah, I still play Wordle because I don't have it behind a paywall, but I do. They have like it's it's a weird thing where like if you want to get better look at your stats, you got to go to the New York Times.
Yeah.
Nope. I want to play today's game and then exit.
But I think that's the thing, because yeah, you can still play it. It's not behind a paywall, but what is behind the paywall is the stats, which you used to get for free. Is the like, and the worst part about it is like it will collect your stats for like a little bit, make you go like, oh, okay, now it's starting back up, and then it'll just erase them and start you back at
Interesting.
zero. And I felt like that's what everyone liked sharing, was like, oh, look how good I am at Wordle.
Mm.
I mean, you
Yeah,
got to
I
pay
don't
money
know.
to do that,
I
and that's
I
stupid.
think I think part of it is like I am not a sharer. So like
That's true.
it doesn't affect me at all.
No,
I just want to play the puzzle.
yeah,
Um but there are this happened like 2 days ago or something. It was like right when we decided to record this episode this week is when it happened.
hmm
I play Wordle, I play Framed, which is the movie screenshot one.
right,
Um and then there's this other company that did like they're all under this company's umbrella, I think, but it's like um actoral or actoral. I don't know how it's supposed to be pronounced, but they like give a bunch of movie release dates, and then all of the titles are like each letter is an X, so you're trying to figure out what the movie is, and it all culminates in like which actor is in all of these movies.
got it.
um they have the same thing for television. They have one that just like gives you the cast of a movie, but everybody's name is x'd out, and you're guessing movies that could have the cast, and each time you somebody is in one of the movies you guessed, their name unlocks or whatever. um there's one that's it gives you emojis, and you're trying to figure out which movie corresponds to the emojis.
Okay.
um there's one that's like, here's an image of a country, and you're trying to guess what country it is. And as you guess, it'll be like, no, the population is less than or greater to the one you just guessed. The um, uh, square, the population and the square footage are greater than or less than what you just guessed.
Okay.
If you guess something that's on the right continent, it tells you you're on the right continent. And it gives you how many miles away the capital city of what you just guessed is from the capital city of the country that it is. And then there's one that drops you somewhere in the United States. And you're trying to guess what state you're in on Google Maps, Street View.
Interesting.
All of these are under the same umbrella.
Yeah.
And recently, they at the top of the games, it's like, hey, great news. All of these games can be bundled under let's see what it's called. It's like it's a very strange. Okay, yeah, thrilled to share Actorals now within metime.games.
Oh, good.
Enjoy beloved games plus new ones seamlessly. Exciting modes, ad-free, and cross-device progress, all in one spot. Let's play. Now, here's the thing about Me Time games. All of these games that I am playing for free,
Yeah.
they're now all bundled for $5 a month.
Awful.
Or $40 a year. Or, hear me out, I don't mind that they're unbundled. And I just click each one to play it for free.
Oh, I know.
It's such a bizarre.
That's insane.
It makes no sense. But also, if they were to take away all these games that I play, I'm not going to pay them $5 a month or $40 a year. I'm going to stop playing them, and I'm going to hate your company.
I think that's the biggest part of the companies that make that choice, which I'm not going to say I don't get it. There's financial struggle.
I get that you want to make money.
I get you want to make money, but it's like the overestimation of what people think their product is worth has been enlightening. I'm like, hey, I like your game. Your game is fun. But if you think that I think it's as fun as, say, like, I'll just say the game I keep mentioning, God of War Ragnarok, which, $60, I've got it forever. It's like, yeah, no, that's better than Wordle. It's better than Actoral.
Right.
It's I'm not going to pay
that I play for like 2 minutes.
I'm not going to pay nearly that much every year to play 2 minutes of your stupid game, which for free is a fucking blast. And You've got the attention of people. You can run ads on it. You can pull the old, which I don't like anyways, but I'm way more likely to pay for the phone game method of like, you'll play this game, you'll get ads, or you can pay like a one-time fee of $3 and then there are no ads. I think that's perfect.
Yeah,
because if I want to play for free, sure, ads are annoying, but I'll deal with it. And if I really like the game, I will pay $3 because it's $3. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, right. And this kind of goes back to what I said we were going to talk about Patreon, and
oh yeah,
something that I've encountered a couple times, and I think that the most recent one, or the clearest one, but this has happened a couple times where I'm watching something on YouTube from some creator, and they're like, you know what, we just aren't making enough money from YouTube and the AdSense, that we're going to take the stuff that you've been watching for free and we're going to put it behind our Patreon paywall. When I watched the movie Trivia Schmodown, that was something that they had talked about doing. And then they got huge backlash from everybody that was like, no, we're not going to follow you. We're not going to follow this thing that we watch for free and then decide to pay for it now.
No.
You can move it behind Patreon, and I'm sure some people will still support it and pay for it, but you're gonna lose a big chunk of your viewers.
Yeah.
And so then they I mean they backed down from that, and um they had bonus content behind the Patreon, which is fine.
Yeah.
Stuff that we had not been already getting. So it's not like you're taking away something that I was getting for free and now making me pay for it. Um, but I don't know if it might just be a repeat of what you were just saying of an overestimation of what a
Right.
product is worth, but of people trying to take something that people are enjoying for free, put it behind a paywall because you want to make something that you can't quite live off of.
Yeah.
You're trying to make that your livelihood, but you don't it's not going to work. Like the loyalty of the viewer isn't there, or of the
No.
consumer, or whatever it is.
No. It's this is a probably controversial old man opinion from me.
Great.
But I'm like, in my mind, we've come to a weird place where I'm like, let's just talk YouTube. All right. I do a lot of work with YouTube. I post some stuff of my own on YouTube. We post this on YouTube. It's become a thing because like a handful of people have made a lot of money posting stuff to YouTube. That the idea is like, well, if I'm consistently posting stuff to YouTube, I shouldn't need a job. This should be my job.
Right.
Do you know how much work I'm putting into this? That's a choice, man. You've made a choice. You want to put that much work into it. I don't put that much work into it. I don't expect to make that much money off of it. I like the numbers are awful. If people knew, if people could, and they can, if people did go out of their way to look up the numbers, they'd find like, oh, the people that do make that much money is this much. And the amount of people that spend like 80% of their days making this content that don't make enough money for lunch is 95% of people on YouTube.
Yeah. And then you see, and of that small percentage that does make a lot of money, a good percentage of them seem to put almost no effort in.
Yeah.
They're
And
like, here, I set up my webcam and I'm going to scroll through Reddit.
like, there's a lot of that. That's the thing. It's like, that's what a crapshoot it is on YouTube, is it's not usually, I can't say never, because I'm sure there's a handful of other cases, but like, it's not usually like, oh yeah, these people are making $1 billion on YouTube because their content is the best, because what they do, they put so much more work into it. They just got lucky. They're charming, or their viewpoints aligned with enough people's viewpoints that it's like, great, they're the ones. And now they just get to set up a camera and do nothing.
They've been doing it for like 15 years when there were like 25 people on YouTube.
Exactly. Your Rhett and Links and your I can't think of another old schooler that's still around, but like it just makes such a big difference when there was like no competition at all. I mean, the Lonely Island talks about it all the time. They were basically the people that initially blew up on YouTube. Granted, they were also on SNL at the time, but like I've heard them say like, if they were starting right now, their music videos probably wouldn't blow up at all in the same way that they did then, because there's just so much shit. But what I was going to say is you'll also see like those people that are making like top tier money off of YouTube, a lot of them also have Patreon accounts because they're not
Yes.
making enough money. It's not financially viable. Don't start a YouTube channel.
Well, it's
unless you're having fun with it, then just go have fun.
There's a mix of it not being financially viable and a mix of people being like, well, I could make more money. I'm making enough to own this 5-bedroom house in Los Angeles, but what if my poor viewers gave me more money every month?
That's why I've always felt weird about like Twitch, where it's like, it is great. It's like independent creators doing whatever their thing. The bulk of it's obviously people playing games and people want to watch it and people want to throw money at them. And that's great. But man, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know. I can't explain. I can't not support the independent people of Twitch. I cannot support Twitch as a company, but anyone that wants to be like, I'm really fucking good at this game, or I'm fine at this game, but I'm hilarious, whatever. And people love to watch that and independently on their own choose to throw money at them. Good on everyone involved, but man, it feels gross. It feels wrong.
Yeah, there's definitely like that grossness to it, and it gets especially obvious when there are content creators who are doing their live streams or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, this thing you really want me to do? Well, I'm not going to do it until I see you give me money.
Yeah.
They're like gross, like,
I made it not to
money whoring.
Yeah,
for lack of a better word. Like,
it's honestly, it's taking a lot of tips from like cam shows, like
yeah,
cam shows and OnlyFans and stuff. Like, I'll do this thing you want me to do for money, and I was like, oh, that is a pretty good tactic. What could we do? What would people want us to do? Or like,
that's a good question, because we've like joked many times about us having a Patreon when we in fact do not.
We do not. And that's to be fair, not to interrupt, but to be fair to people that do have a Patreon. I have nothing against having a Patreon, and if we were to start one, or do we joke about starting t-shirts too, selling merch. It's like, yeah, we spend $100 a year to get this podcast out. We spend $20 a month to use the program we're using to record it. It's not like, we're in debt, but it is like, it'd be nice if if that was paid for. Yeah. So I totally get that. If anyone that wants to recoup their costs, that makes sense.
But yeah, having a Patreon is
that's not even
what we're making fun of. We're making fun of either the people who don't really need it,
yes.
or the people that are trying to lure you into it.
Yeah.
Like, this is the only way. It's one thing to have it as like, hey, if you like it and you feel like that the person that you were watching isn't making enough.
Yeah.
But you want to still show your support. Like, a Patreon's fine for that.
Yeah.
And if there's bonus content behind the Patreon that they give you in return, that's great too. But maybe someday this podcast will have a Patreon. But you mentioned something, and it's like, should instead of a Patreon, should HowDoWeHuman have an OnlyFans page?
I mean, yeah, send us $1,000. We'll record every episode shirtless. If that's what you want.
That's what you want.
If that's what you want, we'll do it. We'll have to change our video settings.
Yeah, because I won't have to turn the lights on in my apartment.
We'll bring the game
so blindingly bright.
And if that's what you want, we're there for you. Oh, jeepers.
I do have a quiz for us to take.
That's true.
This, we've been talking about what are products worth? Is like the New York Times worth $5 a month or whatever?
Yeah.
This is a quiz that is kind of like The Price is Right.
Oh, that's what
it's going to give us an item
towards,
and we have to figure out if we know the retail price. It is multiple choice. I don't know how you feel like you would do on The Price is Right. I think it's of the like mainstay game shows. It
Yeah.
might be the one I do the worst on.
I agree, and it's like one of my favorites. Granted, at this point, I don't watch very many game shows anymore, which is a shame. I like game shows. But hey, you lost your job to Ryan Seacrest. We haven't talked about that.
Yeah, and
damn shame.
I hate it.
it's pretty bad. But then I mentioned it to my girlfriend, and she was like, "When the fuck was the last time you watched Wheel of Fortune? Who gives a shit?" I was like, that's
the wrong attitude to have, Jocelyn.
We care.
Like it. One of the other people that was up for it, I think, was like either Pat Sajak's like daughter, or maybe it's Vanna White's daughter. I'm not sure, but it's some sort of quote unquote nepo baby situation.
Oh man!
And I would have rather gone to one of them than to Ryan Seacrest.
Absolutely.
But anyway, so the first question here on our Price is Right quiz.
Yes.
Is, and I don't know, this is important because I don't know when this quiz was made. So inflation could or could not play a part. But this is what is the retail price of this Magic Chef 1.1 cubic feet microwave? $89, $119, $139, or $189?
It's checking if my microwave's a Magic Chef. Whatever brand it was got scratched off. I don't know.
I feel like it's $89.
I definitely feel like it be between 89 or 119.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I think it is. I think Magic Chef is what my microwave is, and I think that means they're nothing special. Sorry, microwave, if you do a lot of good work for me. But when it's called Magic Chef, like, sure. Is it like also an air fryer? Does it do that? That would be closer to 189. If you want to say 89, that is one of my two answers, so I'll go along with 89.
Okay, let's go with 89. Wow, we were incorrect. It was 119.
It was that's a rarity. Look at me go. I love this quiz. It's called "How Long Would You Last on the Price is Right?"
How long would you last on the Price is Right is the official title of this quiz.
Because this is not my strong suit either.
All right, question 2. You want to take
this one? This is harder. Both of the prices below are lower than their retail price. Which is the biggest bargain? There's a LG 4.3 cubic feet, 14 cycle washer and 8 cycle dryer electric combo for $1,599. Or a Samsung 25.6 cubic feet French door refrigerator for $1,999. It's $1,999, not $20. That would be the better deal.
I feel like the washer dryer is the better bargain because it's a washer and dryer combo unit. That makes me think that it's that it would be more expensive.
My two thoughts that lead me in the other direction would be and maybe I'm wrong, but the fridge is a Samsung, which I do feel like those normally have features that they're not mentioning, because it only mentions French doors. The washer dryer talks about 14 cycles, 8 cycles, and I feel like they're also trying to trick us because, of course, the lower priced one seems like the better deal.
I guess that's true.
You know what I mean? But I always go that route and say they're trying to trick us, and I'm always wrong. So I'll go where you lead. Though I agree with you. It's that stupid side of my brain that says Samsung. But maybe I would be good at Price is Right.
That's true.
Because I had that first question right.
You did.
Maybe this is my wheelhouse.
It could be, because this is like, of the Price is Right, Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune, and Family Feud. I would say those are the 4 like main game shows. I'm by far the worst at this one. And I'm fairly competent at the other 3. if not, dare I say, good. Um,
Ooh.
but yeah, this one I
Yes.
just like have absolutely no idea what anything costs.
No.
At the end of every grocery shopping week, I'm like, oh wow, that came out a lot higher than I thought it would be.
Well, and especially like people that are apartment livers, like
Yeah,
I've never had to buy either of these, so I don't pay
right.
attention. I don't have a fucking clue.
Yeah. All right. I guess, but the other
Let's go.
thing about the Price is Right, before I click the washer and dryer, is when you're on the Price is Right, they go through the features and things like
True.
more in detail, and so we're
Yeah.
just getting the like bare bones information.
But they also put a pretty lady next to him, and that's distracting.
That's so true.
That's so true. Real quick,
Every
though.
time I'm like, does she come with the washer dryer?
Because this one, I know I'm wasting time, but because we're both saying we'd be bad at the Price is Right. This says both of these are on sale. Do we want to guess the actual prices?
Oh, yeah. Okay. I think that the refrigerator is $2,300,
Ooh,
and I
okay.
think that the washer dryer is $2,100.
$2,100. Okay, I'm not gonna do the. I was gonna do the Price is Right joke. Underbid you. I'm gonna go for the Samsung refrigerator. I'm gonna forget all of these numbers.
Yeah, and
So
who knows?
maybe it
It
doesn't
may
matter.
not even tell us what the, the
It
retail
probably
price
will.
is.
We would have to do math probably, but
Yeah.
I'll say $24.99 for the fridge. That's an expensive ass refrigerator, but I'm going there. Washer and dryer, $19.99.
Okay, let's find out. We're going to pick the washer and dryer. We are correct, at least, on
Woo!
that.
It doesn't tell us.
And it does not tell us what anything else was.
Fuck.
All right, so this is the classic sort of Price is Right
Yeah.
game where they give you a price, but some numbers are missing, and we
Uh-oh.
have to fill it in. We have to pick the correct numbers to complete the price of this 2015 Hyundai Sonata.
Which might be a clue as to closer when this quiz was made.
I would imagine it was made somewhere around 2015.
Yes.
Yeah. But so
A
the
new Hyundai Sonata in 2015. Let's say
yeah,
that.
so there's a 2, a blank, 5, 7, and another blank. So it's 20,000, somewhere in the 20,000s.
Yeah.
So our options are basically it can be $21,579, $23,579, or $28,575.
Man, I don't look at Hyundai Sonatas as being like crazy expensive. And all of this all feels fairly high. I mean, Sonatas
Yes.
are good cars. I lean 23.
Okay, I lean 21, but you have the
That's
better
my
track
other
record so
option.
far, so we'll go with
I
23.
think we've got the same track record.
No, we have I don't know. You went pretty well with the washer dryer, so I count that as both of
Okay.
us. And then you were correct on the
Alright.
first question. So you want to go 23?
Well, sure. Now
All
I'm
right.
going to be blamed.
Well, we were
We're
both wrong. It was 28,575.
That is awful.
Yeah, I
For a
never would have
7-year-old car.
yeah. What is this is you, sorry.
Which is the correct price for this Sony 65-inch 4K Ultra HD TV? They don't need to say 4K and Ultra HD. They're just throwing extra words in there to make you feel like it's worth more and overcharging you. Which is the correct price? $1,999.99 or $2,999.99.
I mean, TV prices seem like they've gone way down. over
Yes,
the
and
last 10
I'll
years,
say
so it's
I
just
have
whenever
a
this was, I don't know.
I have a Samsung 60-inch, and
Okay.
it's not 4K,
Okay.
and it was cheap. So in my mind, 65, it was like 600 something dollars.
Yeah.
65 inch isn't like, well, it's an insane size for a TV. It's pretty average, like large screen TV, 4K. I'm thinking 1999.99.
That's
But
also where I'm leaning as well.
let's go for it.
And we were correct.
Yeah, we win.
All right. Which of these items is the most
Oh, I love
expensive?
this.
A
Ooh,
Louis
this is a good one.
Vuitton Palace bag or Pius? I don't know how you
Papas? I don't know.
pronounce it. Nordic Track C970
This is a tough
treadmill
one.
or a 13-inch MacBook Pro with Retina display.
Oddly, I believe I have a 2015 13-inch MacBook Pro with Retina display in front of me right now.
I also have a 13-inch MacBook Pro, but mine is of a later date, so I don't
Okay,
than
mine
yours.
was
So
purchased by my workplace, but I'm trying to remember. And I know Louis Vuitton bags are way more expensive than a person like myself would guess.
yeah,
I've seen these prices. And treadmills are outrageously expensive. I feel like the MacBook is not the most expensive. I kind of want to lean towards the bag. I don't
yeah.
know, but
I
this
mean,
is a kind of a crapshoot for me. I think the MacBook would be the cheapest of the three of these.
wow.
Do you think opposite?
I mean, I think it's there to fool us, but I don't think it'd be the cheapest.
Yeah.
I just have like such a hard time accepting the fact that Louis Vuitton is expensive because like they're just a bag. Like why are
Yeah.
they so expensive? I feel like the
Because it's
treadmill
covered in Louis Vuitton logos.
let's go Louis Vuitton cuz I think it must be a trick.
Might be.
You know, we always expect there to be tricks in these quizzes. I think this is the trick.
I think it's our biggest downfall, probably.
Probably,
It's
yeah. It's going to be
expecting
the MacBook
tricks.
Pro. Ready?
Everyone's like, no, it's
Oh, we were correct. It is
hey.
the Louis Vuitton bag.
I might not be so bad at prices right. Hey.
This is a weird one because it's just like a personality thing.
What is this question?
So I don't know. Is there going to be a wrong answer?
Is there a for sure answer? What the hell? Okay. Which of these would most improve your life? It feels like we've been pushed into a different quiz. Saving more money, learning a new skill, protecting yourself online, taking a trip, learning a new language, or getting HBO? This suddenly feels sponsored either by
You know
web
what?
security or HBO.
I will almost wonder if this is like an advertisement question, but
Could be.
I'm going to say I guess I'll say saving more money, but
Yeah, let's go for it. It's
that's
not a
like
good answer,
it's
but
like a trick, like it's like a as close to the right answer as I can guess.
yeah. All right.
All right.
Next
Yeah.
question.
I guess next question. That's weird. But
It feels
that
like
may
we're
have been
being
an
prepped for a
advertisement
paywall.
question. Because this is, I think, this is an even question. So that may have been a nonsense question that wasn't
Yeah.
part of the quiz. So I think this is still you.
Okay. Which item costs the same as this Coffee Mate Original Powder 22-ounce canister, which is $3.98? So what costs the same? Which of these costs $3.98? Rice-A-Roni chicken and garlic rice mix, 5.9 ounces. Trix fruit flavored corn puffs, 18.4 ounces. Or Juicy Juice original tangerine, 100% juice, 48 fluid ounces. Of all these, this is definitely more on the line of the type of shopping we're used to.
That's true. I mean, cereal is expensive.
It is.
Um,
I don't really buy it much anymore. But what I do buy is juice, which I feel like is right around there.
I was gonna
And I
say
feel
juice
like
as well.
Rice-A-Roni's cheaper than that. So
I think
I'm leaning
Rice-A-Roni's
juice.
cheaper, and I think Trix is more expensive. So
I
if
like
you were
I
also
like
going
this.
juice, let's go juice.
It's juicy juice. It's the
We were wrong. It was
tricks.
Trix.
We've been looking for tricks all this fucking time. One time we didn't look for tricks. It was right in front of us.
Oh,
Damn
that's
it.
upsetting. All right. This 2016 Kawasaki KX8 85
Futuristic.
motocross dirt bike costs either
Yikes. Oh, come
$4,349
on.
or $4,943, which is correct.
It's so, again, I don't want to waste time, but it's like, I know there's so many people I went to high school with who are dirt bikers that would be like, yeah, of course, this is like in my wheelhouse. I'm like, how? How the fuck could anybody know this is living my life? How could anyone know how much a motocross dirt bike costs? Yeah, this is a 50-50 crapshoot in my mind.
I'm going to say $4,349.
I'm with you. Let's do it.
We got it.
Yeah. Okay. Which of these items costs $799? Is it the Broil King Keg 5000 barbecue grill or a Solara 120R kayak? We got a fancy barbecue. We got a cool looking kayak. Both of these things are expensive.
Yeah, they are definitely both expensive.
Which is $799?
I'm leaning
Instantly,
towards the grill.
I was leaning towards the kayak. We got
Yeah.
problems now.
Okay.
Here my only reasoning, because I know kayaks can be more expensive than that.
Yeah.
I feel like the Broil King Keg 5000 and the shape of that barbecue, I think that's a fancy ass barbecue. I think it would be more expensive.
See,
It also looks kind of small.
something about it makes me think that that's why it's cheaper. Like the reasons that you just said, the name, the shape, the size. I'm like, I think that means it's cheaper.
That's also possible.
But you've been doing better, so I'm down to go with the kayak because
if it's a Broil King, it means it also broils. So it broils. It's barbecue. The keg and the top, which looks like it locks, almost makes it look like it could be a smoker. I don't fucking know.
All right, we can go kayak because I mean $800 for a kayak, I know is not like that far off from where they are.
Yeah,
but like it feels like they shouldn't be. So we can go kayak. Kayak is correct. Good job. All right, Evan.
Last question.
And this is sort of our showcase showdown. An electric guitar, an 8-day trip for 2 to Monte Carlo, and a 19-foot sailboat. Guess the closest price without going over. $24,871, $26,393, $28,947, or $31,651.
You can't, and again, this is the dirt bike of me. You can't just say an electric guitar. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. You can buy a brand new electric guitar for $99. You can also buy a brand new electric guitar for $70,000. Like, so that's a wash.
Yeah.
An 8-day trip for 2 would be very expensive.
Yes.
And I've never bought a sailboat, but they're pretty well known for not being cheap.
Yeah.
So 8-day trip for 2 is where most of my brain is going right now. That's all I can math out. Not even like I can be accurate on that. God, this is hard. This feels like a crapshoot. This is the biggest. Like I never felt like I would be good at this part of Price is Right. The
I'm
Showcase
leaning
Showdown.
towards. Well, actually, now that I look at it, maybe I'm not. I was gonna say I was leaning towards $28,947,
Yeah.
but that's so close to $29,000 that it almost feels like a trick, which
Could
makes me
be.
think maybe we guessed $26,393, but really the answer is somewhere in like the high $27,000 or the low $28,000.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that any of these are the correct answer. I think the
Right.
correct answer is a different number, and we're just trying to make sure we're under it, but still closest.
Oh, right. I forgot it's closest without going over.
So
I'm
I'm leaning
comfortable. Well,
26,000, but if you have a different instinct, go for it.
for the sake of the show, I agree with you. But also, this does feel like we're guessing the closest. I think like we have to guess different things. One of us gets this, and one of us doesn't. So I'll take the 28,000 just to be a little shit. But for the show's score, I do agree with you.
Okay. Um and that is correct. I am the one
Oh,
who knocks, and I am the one who wins.
well done.
This is how I win. Um well, that was exciting.
That was exciting.
It doesn't really answer the question, I guess. I guess here we go.
No.
Get result. Let's see. Take this short survey. No, that's the same as a paywall to me. Goodbye.
Yep, pretty much. Time is money, baby.
But I like to think that we did okay on that.
Yeah.
Price is Right. For prices that are outdated like by 8 years, I think we
For
did okay.
prices that are wrong,
Yeah.
we did pretty well. Yeah, I think we crushed it. Good job, team.
Speaking of something else we crush is every single episode of this podcast every single Monday.
What the hell?
And if you want to get the proof of that, you can check us out on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on Amazon Music, on Pocket Casts,
Absolutely.
HowDoWeHuman.com, anywhere that you get your podcasts. You can rate, review, comment, subscribe, do all of those different things. You can check us out on our social media as well. You can check us out on Instagram at HowDoWeHuman.
We got that handle.
You can check us out on Facebook at HowDoWeHuman.
I don't think you're ready for that handle.
YouTube at HowDoWeHuman.
I'm always spending that time looking up to see if we got any emails, so I'm never ready to say something new, but I always want to say something new. So, it's better than a handle, a hand sharp.
You can also send us an email, speaking of emails, to howdowehumanpod@gmail.com.
The best part of that handle is that it's an email address. Yeah.
Ooh, a little different at the end there.
Yeah.
Evan, do you have anything you'd like to plug?
I do. I mentioned in an email signature, as we've mentioned several episodes ago. By several, I mean 100 or so. Every time we email each other stuff related to the podcast, we have a nickname we give ourselves. And I mentioned that I did a puzzle recently, which was missing an edge piece. I did buy the puzzle from Goodwill, but it was sealed. And this has happened to too many people I know. I'm getting a sealed puzzle, and it's just missing a piece. That shan't be allowed. I can't figure out how to make this work, but I think every puzzle, like a bingo card, every puzzle should come with a free space, free square, a free piece, a piece, or maybe it's just like silly putty that just merges into that shape, and you put it there and feel good about yourself. Because otherwise, we got a lot of incomplete puzzles out here. This was 1,000 pieces, or so I thought. It was 999 pieces. That sucks.
Yeah.
That's all. What do you got going on?
Well, I'm opening a new restaurant. I'm getting into the food industry.
Awesome.
A couple weeks ago, there was the big news story about searching for the Ocean Gate submersible.
Yes.
And I was out there. I was like, man, all these people out there in the water, like doing the search efforts, they're probably hungry.
It's true.
So I'm gonna put the first restaurant of the sea, just out there
Yes.
in the waves. Of course, anchored down, but
Oh yeah.
you can take your boats or your helicopters out to check out Appleseas. What's good in the fishes neighborhood?
Love that. Unfortunately, what's good in the fish's neighborhood? Fish.
Yeah, people are telling me that I should have franchised with a company that's like known for their seafood, but
Your Long John Silver's.
yeah, I'm gonna stick with a restaurant mentioned in a country music song.
Yeah. I forget which one,
Me
but that
too.
happened some years ago.
Yep.
Applebee's. Apple.
Eyes.